Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be starting our playthrough of Robinson Cruseo. Now we are going to be doing the time travel scenario, which is out of the treasure chest that I just recently opened that has all the promos that actually went with this game over the course of its life, which is really cool. We're going to try one of the scenarios out of there. Plus I've got some other things set up here that are part of the promo pack. If you're not exactly sure what's part of what, go ahead and check out my setup video. I'll put a link to it in the description below. You can go ahead and see what parts this were from the actual game and what are from the actual treasure chest. So I'm excited to go ahead and give our time travel a shot. Now, of course, we are playing with 4 characters, which to me I feel is the most optimal way to play. Even though I'm playing solo, I still like to use 4 characters because it's really cool. We're going to go and try to see if we can stop the poison that is running through our veins. And if you think we have what it takes, then I need you to meet me at the table. To start the game, we're going to go ahead and gain our first player token and give it to our first player. And we have chosen the gamer as our first player because why not? He looks like somebody who would have built a time machine and probably gone time jumping. So we're going to have him be the one that's first player, and we're going to go through the turn structure of the game. The first few turns we're going to go a little bit slow because I want everybody to understand the rules and the mechanics of how this game works. But as we get going, we're going to go a little bit faster. So if we look at our round turn summary chart here, it says the first thing we're going to do is the event phase. Now this isn't going to happen in the first round, but we're still going to read it. Draw the top card from the event deck, not in the first round. Resolve the part marked with the flag. Then, if there are any of these circle question mark symbols inside, we're going to place the gray, brown, or green question mark token on top of the appropriate deck. If there's any book symbols, we're going to check if there's a meaning in the scenario sheet, and there is for this scenario. After resolving the event card, you're going to place it in the rightmost threat action space. And we'll see how that works, but of course we're not going to see how it works till the next round because it doesn't happen on the first round. The next part is our morale phase. We're going to check the morale level, and the first player gains or discards the indicated determination tokens. For each determination that cannot be discarded, the first player is going to receive -1 health. So let's go ahead and check that out. Our moral track is right up here, and as you can see right now, we're on 0, so we're not going to gain any determination and we're not going to lose any determination, which is kind of good and bad. Now, of course, there are factors that can move this up and down. Taking damage usually is the thing that's going to bring it down, but doing some things around camp or some other events could potentially bring this back up. With the moral phase complete, we're going to go ahead and move into the production phase. We're going to get food, and we're also going to get wood from the island tile that the camp token is on. So any of the wood is going to provide wood, and any fish or parrots are going to provide perishable food. So if you look at the tile where our camp is, we are going to gain 1 wood and we're going to gain 1 food. So we're going to go ahead and take both of those tokens. I know this doesn't look like a fish, but that's what is going to be considered our perishable food, and of course we have our wood. And we're going to place both of these tokens into the active resources area. That means we can use these during our action phase. If there are anything up in this area, this is the stuff that we're going to be collecting during our action phase, and it's not going to be able to be used while we're taking other actions. It kind of makes sense because everything's kind of happening at once. So we're not going to be able to use the stuff that we gain during our action phase until after all the actions are completed. At this point, we're going to move into the meat of the game. This is where we're going to be able to do all the stuff we want to do. So the first player plans their actions, placing their pawns on the board. Each action can be taken multiple times except for threat actions. After that, we're going to go ahead and resolve the actions in the given order from 1 to 7. We're going to start with the threat action, hunt action, building action. Then we're going to move to the gathering, explore, arrange camp, and rest action. I'm going to go ahead and explain how all those work as we decide to place out our characters. Also, it says here, if you use 1 character, you're going to roll the corresponding action die 2, and the action is auto-successful. And it says down here, note, all resources, items, etc. gained during the action phase are only available to you after the action phase is complete, like I was talking about before. So let's go ahead and figure out what actions our first player is going to do, second, third, and fourth. Now, I know it says to start with the first player, but we usually talk about all the things we want to do, and we just go ahead and place our stuff out on the board. Now, before we decide to choose our actions, there is one thing I want to show you, and that's that we're starting on our first day here, which is in the past, so I'm going to put our token here. Now, down here is a symbol for the die that we're going to be rolling during the night phase, and this is a pretty brutal die. Basically, there's two symbols on here that mean it's going to break our palisade. We've also got a roll right here. That means we're going to encounter a level 3 beast, and we don't have any weapons to fend these things off. And of course, there's also one here that says we have to discard a perishable food. Of course, there's 2 blanks, which is what you always want to roll if you're rolling those dice. But I do want you to be aware that this is going to be a die we're going to have to roll during the night phase. So we might want to take into this die's account when deciding some of our actions that we're going to do. One thing we want to do is get food. And here's a great way to get 2 food. We're going to use 2 of our tokens to go ahead and suffice this action right here. We're going to be able to gain a perishable and non-perishable food and when we resolve our threat cards. So I'm going to place those 2 tokens right there, and let's see what else we can do. Next, we can go ahead and make some of these items. We can place one person down to go ahead and attempt to make it, which means we're going to roll all the dice and hope for a victory symbol. Of course, if we don't get that, that means that we have failed. But we can put one person there. Now, if we put 2, we are going to auto-succeed at that action, which might not be a bad idea because that means you're guaranteed the glass if you want it. But I think we're going to put 1 and 1. She's going to go ahead and attempt to create these 2 items. It's also a good time to explore our island because, of course, we're looking for totems that are going to help us get antidotes. So I'm going to go ahead and place out a couple of our tokens here for our sailor. I think our sailor is going to move here. She's going to attempt to explore these locations and hopefully find new lands. And last but not least, I think our cook is going to use 2 actions to attempt to raise the morale of our camp, which means in the future we're going to be gaining more determination tokens when it goes to everybody's turn. Now that we've completed all the actions, we're going to go ahead and move through our action phase one by one. The first action we're going to resolve is our threat action. We're going to activate the bottom half of the event card in the threat space. So we have this character right here that has used both their actions to go ahead and clear this threat card. So we're going to discard the threat card and we're going to gain 1 perishable and 1 non-perishable food item that is going to go into the future resources. And we're going to discard this card. So we're going to place our food right up there, and then we're just going to discard our card right up on top there. Now, if you're not sure what turn order you should be going in, right here is a quick, at least pictorial graph of what you can do. It tells you each of the different steps of the game, but of course you have the card that tells you in depth what they are. But if you just were trying to remember based on where you were in your steps, you can just look up here and at least get an idea. The next action on our turn card is going to be hunting, and we don't have any hunting right now. There are no beast cards in the hunting deck on the board, so that's not even available to us at this time. So the next one we're going to do is build. We're going to go ahead and we can use 1 or 2 characters, of course, on each of the areas to determine either rolling dice or a automatic action. And you can build your shelter, you can build a canopy, or you can build a palisade, or you can craft some weaponry and items found in the board, character sheet, scenario sheet, or anything. So there's all different things that we can build in this game. Now, sadly, we don't have the resources to build any of those. We need to either have 4 wood or 3 pelts in order to build any one of these right now. So we have nothing that we can do when it comes to building these, which is really sad because we need it to protect ourselves from the elements. And sadly, we can't help with our weapon right now because we only have 1 wood, which means we could bring it to a 1, but I don't think that's really going to help us too much. Instead, we're working on those items. We have the 2 items right here, and since she only put 1 down on each of those, we're going to have to roll some dice to see what happens. So we're going to go ahead, take our 3 dice, shake them up, and we have gotten a victory symbol. We got the entire gambit of everything. So we got our victory symbol, which means that we have created the shovel. So we're going to go ahead and flip our shovel over to show that we have created the shovel, and we're going to gain back our token. Then we're also going to go ahead and have to take 1 damage, which means she's going to lose 1 health, but that's okay. It doesn't put us past the arrow that's going to affect our morale track. And then the last but not least, we have found a question mark, which means we have to draw one of the cards and resolve it. And these cards are usually not the best, but it's kind of cool to see how this all transpires. So let's see what has befallen our carpenter. Lack of hope. You feel that some of your ideas are impossible to do. Discard 3 invention cards. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely devastating. All right, we got to figure out what 3 we don't think we're going to need for this scenario. I don't want to get rid of any of these. This card is what we call a barf card. And this is a terrible card. I don't like this card at all. So we have to get rid of 3 though. We have nothing we can do. We're going to get rid of the thermometer. We're going to get rid of the lamp. And we're going to get rid of the shield. I think these are the 3 we're going to go ahead and do. Is it the right choice? I don't know. We never know what the rest of the cards are going to come and show us, but that's what I've decided to get rid of. Hopefully they're not going to make it detrimental to us in the future. Good news, bad news, we were able to make the shovel. Bad news is a lot of really bad things happened. All right, we're going to go ahead and discard that card, and we're going to roll again our dice because we're going to attempt to make the glass. Let's see how this goes. We got a victory symbol, and look at this. blank dice. That's what we love to see. So we're going to go ahead and flip over our glass. We have now made that. But of course, when we do create it, we also gain a determination token. So our carpenter is going to gain a determination token. We're going to place it on her character sheet. We're also going to go ahead and give her back her token, and we're going to move into the next action. The next action we're going to do is the gather action, where we can go ahead and success gain one resource. Each source can only be gained from once per round. So at any time you can go ahead and gain some resources from places around camp or even farther away. But the farther away they are, the more actions it takes you to get. But you can never gather on the tile you're on because you're going to get these resources during your turn. But let's say this is not our camp and we're going to go ahead and we decide to gather. You have to decide what you want to gather. Wood, or food, or whatever's on the tile that you decide to gather. Then you're going to roll your dice and see what you get. Or, of course, if you use two characters on a square adjacent to your camp, you're going to do it for free. Now we're going to move on to the next action, which is going to be explore. We're going to go ahead and explore. We're going to roll our dice, and in success, we get to explore one new island tile. So we're going to go ahead, pick up our dice, and decide what we're going to do. Now, when I did the inventions, I forgot to say which ones are doing first. This time I'm not. We're going to use this character's action first. We're going to take our dice, roll them up, and see what we get. We've got a victory symbol, which means we do get a tile. We have received a tile of plains, and we're able to get a wood out of this. We also get to add a animal or beast to our beast deck, and we get to gain 2 tokens. So we're going to go ahead and put that down. Now we're going to take our card from the beast deck and we're going to place it down in the area where we can attempt to hunt it later if we decide to. Also, I get 2 of these discovery tokens, which are inside our bag. So we're going to go ahead and mix these up and grab them out of here and see what we get. And we have found, we gain 1. We have found some tobacco. Why not? We gain 1 on our morale track. So we're going to go ahead and push our morale up. So when it goes to the next player's turn, as long as we don't lose any for the rest of the turn, we're going to gain 1 determination when it's their turn. Now we're going to go ahead and discard this token. It's no longer available to be pulled out of the bag. We're going to go ahead and reach in here and grab another one because the discovery tokens are awesome. It's about the only thing good in this entire game. Let's see what we have found next. We have found, if we have a pot, we can go ahead and gain 2 hearts if we want to. We're going to be able to create vegetables. Now, we're going to put this up in our future resources because remember, everything that happens during the action phase, you don't get access to until it goes on. Now, of course, we don't have a pot, but that's okay. Maybe in the future, we'll be able to make one. Now, we also have to draw a card because of our question mark. Let's see what happens to us. Old hut. While wandering through the forest, you come across an old hut. Decide. Discard this card or draw 2 mystery cards. Only resolve 1 beast card or monster card and 1 treasure card and shuffle into the event deck. Now this is a choice. I can choose to do this or not. Now of course what happens to us is down here. Now I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I don't even know what it is because I'm kind of holding my hand over it. But we're going to go ahead and we have to decide if we want this or if we want to discard it. These mystery cards could be really good, but it could also be really bad. Oh, I'm not sure what to do. I think we're going to go ahead and do it because early in the game, we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Though I don't think this is a good idea. So we're going to shuffle this into our event deck. I'm just going to place it up there and we'll shuffle those before we go on to our next turn. And we're going to go ahead and draw from our mystery deck. So we're going to go ahead and draw our 2 cards and let's just make sure we do it right. We are going to resolve 1 beast or monster type card and 1 treasure card. So let's go ahead and grab our cards. Reveal them one at a time until we find what we're looking for. We have found a pit trap. That is not what we're looking for, so we're going to discard that. We're going to draw our next one. We have found a ferocious tiger. It growls, fangs glistening. Then all of a sudden, it springs for your throat. Fight a level 4 beast. Well, that's terrible because we don't have any weapon at all. So that means she's going to go ahead and take 4 damage, which our sailor means she's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to put us past an arrow. So just to show you what I mean, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, pushes us past an arrow, which means our morale track is going to take a hit. Good thing we had 1 extra morale from one of the cards or the tokens we drew, but it goes back to 0 now. We do get to continue drawing because we can only resolve 1 of those and 1 of the treasure cards. Let's see what our next one is. Now we've already resolved 1 of these, so we can't resolve another one. We're going to keep on drawing now until we find a treasure because we found everything. We found a rusty machete. You find an old machete, a true treasure in your situation. Use it to fight beasts or to cut down some trees. I can either gain 2 weapon or I can gain 2 wood. Oh no, that's a hard choice. I think we're actually going to take although we have that beast that might come after us. I'm going to take the 2 weapon and then we're going to go ahead and discard this. I'm taking the weapon mainly because we just got mauled by a tiger, and most likely that could probably happen again. If we take the wood, we could have probably made our shelter the next turn. Now that we resolved our first exploration, we're going to go ahead and resolve our second one. Now, if you notice, we did not find a totem out here, which is sad. We really want to find a totem. We're going to roll up our dice and see what we found. We have found a victory, and we have taken 1 wound. So she's going to go ahead and drop another one. She's taken almost half her health in this first turn, which is absolutely out of control. But we don't have to draw another card, and I do have to add this card to our adventure deck, so I'm going to place that one up there. We're going to draw our next tile token and see what we have found. Come on, totem. We did. We found a totem, and we found a river. Wow, this is a really cool spot. And we also found this exploration token as well. So we're going to go ahead and put those down here, and I get to draw another one from my bag. Hopefully it is a food of some kind, because we need one more food, and I don't know where we're going to get it. All right, let's see what we have found. We have found, what's this? Tiny totem. If I have a shovel, I can get a totem. That isn't going to help us at all. Oh, wait, maybe it would. This might help us. If we find next turn, if we decide to look for a place that doesn't have a totem, we can make a totem because we have the shovel. So that's going to be pretty good. Now, of course, that went into our future resources, and sadly, that's the end of the turn. Now, I have a totem here, so we have to go to our card to figure out exactly how to use that. So it says here, when you reveal an island tile with a totem in the past, place your next odd-numbered token on it, 1 or 3. Also, there is a spot here about totems as well, and when you have 1 or 3, you're going to resolve another one of these cards from the mystery deck. Now, I'm not sure if this happens when I do my action to find the ingredients, or if this happens when I reveal the token. I'm going to go ahead and say it happens when we reveal the token, so we're going to go ahead and resolve one of these as well, because we've just found our first token. We are going to place a number 1 up here, and we're going to go ahead and resolve some cards again. Let's see what we have found. Well, not that. We're going to find a beast. Nope, that's not a beast. That's not a beast. I wish those were all my treasures, but they're not. Let's see what we found. We found some more treasures. Wow, a lot of treasures right in a row. Here we go, a shiny jewel. You find a shiny jewel and take it to the camp. Later you realize it's a nasty beetle. Put this card in the night phase. During the night phase, each player gets 1 damage. Discard after the night phase. Oh, that's a terrible jewel. With our exploration phase over, we're going to continue down. We have our arranged camp action. You're going to gain 2 determination, and or you're going to be able to increase the morale of the camp based on the number of players. Now, of course, the last one is rest. You could heal 1 wound for every action you put in that area, but we didn't do any of that this turn. We did arrange the camp. We're going to go ahead and remove our 2 cooks token, and that allows us to move our morale up 2. Moving it up 2 means we're going to go ahead and be able to gain some inspiration when it comes to our next turn. With all of our actions completed, we're going to go ahead and move into the weather phase. So we're going to go ahead and roll the respected die based on the scenario sheet, and we're going to deal with what happens. Now, of course, the die we're dealing with is hungry animals. So we don't want any of this to happen, but I'm sure something might. So let's go ahead and roll our die and see what happens during the weather phase. Nothing happens. That's perfect. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. We really needed that. So that's done. Our weather phase is complete, and we're going to go ahead and move into the night phase. Before we roll the weather die, I should have actually gained all of our resources. After the action phase is complete, we gain all the future resources. We put them right into our now current resources. With the weather phase done, we're going to move into the night phase. We're going to go ahead, and players can move the camp if they wish to an adjacent tile. And we're actually going to do that. We're going to move over to this tile because this tile's awesome. It gives us wood and fish just like this one, but it also is adjacent to more empty spaces, meaning it's going to be easier to explore the island. Also, we're then going to go ahead, and each player must discard a food, or they get 2 wounds. And if you don't have a shelter, each person is going to lose a wound. So there's 1 person here who's going to lose 3 wounds because we don't have enough food. Then we're going to discard all remaining perishable food and keep any non-perishable food. Now we also have something awesome that's going to happen during the night phase as well. We also have our shiny jewel, of course, that we have to deal with. So everybody is going to lose 1 health from that too. So let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do. Well, we know what we're going to do first is eat 3 food. We just got to figure out who is going to eat the 3 food for this turn and who is going to actually take the 2 damage. Being the first player, he says he can go ahead and be hungry. So he's going to take 2 damage for not eating. He's sleeping outside still, so we don't have a shelter. And he also is going to take 1 from the jewel. And that's going to go ahead and discard this jewel card. We're also going to go ahead and lose 2 health for everybody else in the camp. Our cook is going to lose 2. Our sailor, who got absolutely brutalized, is going to lose 2. And our carpenter is also going to lose 2. That's the end of the first turn. We're going to move into the second turn, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle this deck up because I have the card on top, and we don't want to know what card we have. Now, the thing about this deck is we always know what's on top, so I'll be drawing from the bottom. That way we don't know exactly what card is going to be where. Now, of course, it is a little bit easier to see that green card, so I'm going to hide it behind my back. We're going to shuffle these up real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and put them back out, and we're going to draw the bottom card. All right, let's see what we have found. We have found slow work. Everything is taking longer than you expected. So we're going to put a +1 wood in the build action space. During the next build that requires wood, I'm going to need to spend 1 extra one to make it happen. Oh, that's terrible because we want to get our shelter up. Now we could rest. It says here, I can place a person here to discard this card and get 1 determination token. Now, if this ever slides off the board, I'm going to put another one in the build action space. How's going to be terrible. So we're going to place this down in the threat zone. Also, we have to move our token down to the number 2. And at this point, we're actually going to be needing to put this die, because now we're back in the present, over on our side. And look at that. There's not a single thing on this dice that's any good. Oh man, this is a brutal scenario. All right, we're going to put that over here, and we're going to move into our next set of actions. But before we do, the cook is going to gain 2 determination because that is where we are on the morale track, and he is now the first player. We also get to gain a perishable food and a wood from our tile. I'm going to put that in the active area. We do get those. And I also have to put that +1 wood down here in the build area as well to remind myself that I have to pay an extra wood if we want to build. We also have more things we can build as well. We have found a plains area, and we've also found a river. So we get to put these up here, meaning that if we now have access to be able to build these because we have uncovered their locations. So that might be something we might want to think about when we go to do our actions. Our cook is going to go ahead and put 1 token here. I have a plan. It may not be good, but we'll see how it goes. Our gamer is going to go ahead and explore in that area, and then he's going to go ahead and gather, I think he's going to gather some wood. Again, I have a plan. Our carpenter is going to go ahead and try to build the dam, even though it's going to cost an extra wood because of this horrible, horrible token here, which means I'm going to lose both my wood to do it. We can get some more food, which is really important. She's also going to attempt to make the rope, which is also going to be awesome because there's 2 different characters that can create something using that rope. And just so we're able to make the rope, I'm going to go ahead and have her help out as well. With our last 2 actions, we're going to go ahead and grab some wood, and we're also going to grab some food. And that's going to be our plan. We're going to do 3 gathering actions. With our actions placed, we're going to go ahead and resolve them. First, we're going to go ahead and take our token back, discard this card, and gain a determination token for our cook. We're not hunting anything, so we're going to go into the build action, and our carpenter is building something. So our carpenter is attempting to make our dam. Let's see if we're able to create the dam. Let's see if we're victorious. We are victorious, but we do take 1 damage, which isn't the end of the world. Now we do have to spend 2 wood to do it. We have to do 1 for the dam, but of course we have that token as well. Now I do get to discard this token because I made something with our wood. And so that means that token is discarded, and we gain 2 non-perishable foods, which are going to be great. They'll go right up here into the future resources. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. We can't do it again, which is sad, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and give her token back. Now we automatically get to create this rope because we have 2 characters there as well, and that's going to be key. Next, we're going to move over to our gathering action. We're going to start with our cook. He's going to roll some dice, see what happens. He has failed. He didn't get any of that, but even though you fail, you still are going to gain 2 determination, so he's got 5 determination now. That's pretty good. All right, next we're going to go ahead and do our sailor. She's going to go ahead and see what happens to her. She also has failed. Oh, this is a terrible, terrible turn. We're going to go ahead and grab 2 more determination for her. Now, of course, these are supposed to be the nicest dice on the planet, which means you're supposed to succeed all the time and nothing's supposed to happen. But apparently that's not how it works. We're also going to go ahead and do it with our gamer as well. Our gamer was victorious, and our last dice down here was blank, so he is able to gain a wood. I was really hoping for more food, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and take our wood and put it into our future resources pile. The only thing left to do here is to explore. So we're going to go ahead and take our 3 dice and see how we do exploring. Hopefully better than gathering. We did terrible. We did not do well for exploring either. We're going to go ahead, take our 2 determination tokens. Well, we're the determination crew. That's what we are. We are team determination. We're determined to lose this really badly. All right, let's see what we do. We have found signs of fire. The whole area is wasted after a massive fire. Oh, this is terrible. Cover 1 resource source on the tile you are exploring with a token. It is exhausted. If the exploration was not successful, then put it on an island space you were exploring instead. If the space is explored later, cover That's the source then. Oh no, that's gonna be terrible. So we're going to take our black token and place it right here. Since we were not successful, the gamer's not a very good explorer. He's not going to do that again. If we do ever explore again, we do have to place this on one of those places. So exploring this way might be the way to go. Now, sadly, since I failed my exploration, which I didn't expect to do, I'm not able to use my totems. We don't know where one of the resources are that we need in order to complete the antidote because I didn't get it in the future. Oh, that makes me sad. With our action phase completed, we're going to go ahead and grab our future resources and put them into there. And we don't have enough food for our entire team. It's just horrible. And we don't have any wood. We don't have any, oh, this could be the fastest game of Robinson Cruseo I think I've ever played. We're going to go ahead and move into the weather phase where we're going to go ahead and roll our orange die, which is everything on this die is terrible. Let's see how terrible it is. Oh, it's really terrible. Look at that. We got 2 rain clouds. That's going to be awesome. Let's go ahead and check that out. We're going to lose a lot of health. All right, it says right here, compare this to the sum of these. Well, we don't have any of our canopy, so the sum of our raindrops and our snow is 2. For each one missing, we have to discard a food and a wood. So we have to discard 1 food and 1 wood for each of these. Is there any way to get wood here? Nope, there's no wood. All right, so we're going to go ahead and discard these resources right here. Now, of course, I don't have enough wood to do it. So instead, everybody is going to lose 1 health, which is going to be absolutely tragic because we have then passed 2 of our morale hits. So we're going to go back down to 0 on our morale. Thank you, rain clouds. That was awesome. The next thing we can do is eat our food, and we only have 2. So we have to try to find a way to get 2 more food, and I have the plan. We're going to go ahead and discard 3 of these for him to make some stone soup. I can discard 3 to get 1 perishable food, so we're up to that many food. Now, of course, we also have our pipe tobacco as well. We have 2 uses, so I'm going to go down to 1. We're going to gain 2 inspiration. We're going to have our good old cook go ahead and smoke some pipe tobacco. He's going to gain 2 determination. He's again going to use 3 of it to go ahead and grab another perishable food. So now we do meet the 4 food requirement, which is fantastic. Now the only problem is we have to deal with our shelter. We don't have one. So again, we're going to lose 1 health on all of our characters. And that means that our sailor is down to only 1 health before she's going to die, which means we've got to heal her or things are going to start getting really bad. And of course, we're going to take 1 morale hit, meaning that we're going to lose a determination instead of gaining determination on the beginning of our turn during the morale phase. So just like that, we go from 2 to -1. Wow, what a turn. All right, it's time to go back to the past because the future did not have anything good for us. So we're going to go ahead and draw our next card and see what we get from the bottom of this deck. We have found unusually cold nights. That sounds fantastic. It was a freezing cold night. You had to heat the camp. Discard 2 or each player gets -1 health. Barf. That's going to be terrible. We have none. Okay, I can go ahead and use this and 1 wood or a pelt to discard this card and get an inspiration. Oh, that's terrible. I can't do that because I don't have any resources at all. It says each player is going to lose 1 health if this gets removed from the threat area. Awesome. So I'm going to put this into the threat place and we're all going to lose 1 health. So everybody's going to take 1 health, and look at our sailor. She is 1 away from actually dying. Unbelievable. And since we're in the morale phase, we might as well just go ahead and remove 1 determination from her because we're at -1 on our track. Before we move into our action phase, there is something I totally forgot, and that's this part of our scenario card. If ever a book symbol appears inside our event cards, we have to deal with what is on here. And in our first one, slow work, sure enough, there was a book symbol. So we actually have to resolve one of these traps. And of course, the next one we had is also had one as well. So since we're in the past the first time, we have to do one of these. The second time we're in the present. So each player gets 1 damage from the poison. So we have to deal with that. So let's go ahead and reveal our trap card. So we're going to take our mystery cards and look for a trap card. That's not a trap card. Let's keep going. We've not found one. Nope. There's got to be one in here, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Net. You get caught in a net. It pulls you up and it takes you the whole night to escape. Stop drawing mystery cards. Resolve the night phase outside of camp. I don't think this is going to affect us because really this happens when an event card happens. And we're actually all in camp when an event card happens. Now, sadly, I would have to stop drawing mystery cards, but I think if we were to take any damage, then we'd have to deal stuff, but that didn't actually pay into effect. Now, I could be doing that wrong. I'm not exactly sure, but please let me know in the comments below exactly how that worked, but I think that's how we do it. So with the gamer losing 1 health, he's going to go ahead and set the morale track down 1. The carpenter is also going to drop our track by 1. So this track is at -3. That's ridiculous. And now you're going to get to the point where it really didn't matter how far that goes down, because in the end, we're going to lose the game right here. I'm going to have to take 1 point of damage from the sailor. Now, I could actually help with the cook. We do have our pipe and tobacco, and knowing that something like that was going to happen, I could have spent this card to give myself 2 more determination. And I do have an ability down here where I can discard 2 to heal 2 by eating 1 food. So I could have healed her 2 health, which would have been just fine. Now, the problem is, I would have had to lose 3 determination. I've lost 2 already, 1, 2, and then would have had to lose my health. So I would have died anyway. We got totally decimated in less than 3 turns. We were on our 3rd turn, and we have lost Robinson Cruseo. Wow, what an absolute smashing defeat that we have had. And that's really how this game can go. You could get some really bad pulls and just go down this escalator that is not turning you back up the right way. Oh my gosh, this was absolutely amazing. Now, I really enjoy Robinson Crusoe, and I even enjoy it when something like this happens. I had a great time playing it. I know I didn't last very long, but it was still a lot of fun. It's just so fun to see how some of this happens. Oh, when that beast came out and hit the sailor, I knew things were going to start going pretty badly. And of course, the gathering action over here just didn't pan out that turn. It was absolutely out of control. So that is the game Robinson Crusoe. We had a blast. I think I'm going to bring this back pretty soon because, well, I might even try the same scenario again because we didn't even get past the 2nd turn. Well, good news is we at least found one of the antidote things. We even had a really great tile that comes out right after it. But man, and like I said, every time you play a scenario, it does play pretty differently. And there's a few things in here I would have probably tried to do a little bit differently. That shelter is super important. I didn't even think about trying to get that up as fast as I should, and I really should have concentrated on that because getting that shelter is key in this situation because those clouds and rain are coming right away and there's need to get that up. So that was probably one of my mistakes. That was probably a couple of the mistakes that I probably did too. So all I know is this game's a lot of fun. I had a blast playing it. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more playthroughs come out. And I guarantee you I'll be hitting Robinson Crusoe again pretty soon. And I won't even have to do the intro video because everybody has seen how to play the game. And hopefully we'll get a little bit farther in this game than we did this time. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Have you ever experienced Robinson Crusoe in this fashion where you it just goes downhill so fast? Oh my gosh, so much fun. Or have you won all the time? And you can't have won all the time unless you've only played it once and you won that time. That'd be at your 100% because this game is really fun and it's really tough. Now, of course, there are a couple scenarios in that expansion or the promo pack that actually are considered more junior missions, and I've noticed that those are a little bit easier, and it definitely is able to get you into a crowd of people that haven't played a game like this to understand how that game is played and kind of seeing the mechanics at least without feeling the absolute dread of getting destroyed by Robinson Crusoe, which is absolutely awesome. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.